We are now trying to... Hey, Z-Bomb Gaming, thank you for the host. And hope you have a good lunch, Mystic Mayhem Gaming. And hopefully it is tacos. Alright. So I think we need to talk to this guy. Let's talk to him. I have the entire previous game, the Serrated Scalpel, on my YouTube. So if you want to watch and see what it was for, then you can go there. It's a long explanation on everything about that game. That was a very deep mystery, which was cool about it, but it was very deep and very kind of complicated.
You witnessed a murder here, Mr. Needham. Tell me everything. No prevarications, please.
It's an habit, and I got reasons I don't mind saying I'm frightened, Mr. Holmes. These was cold customers.
I'll keep your part in this a secret, Needham. Just tell me the truth.
I'll take you at your word. I just tied up at the needle.
What just happened?
Sculling for hours with nothing to show for it. I'm about to climb the stairs when a voice says,
I'll take whatever you've got.
Oh, I thinks there's something dodgy, a robbery maybe. But right away a different voice says,
I might have £1 in my wallet, I'll look.
Well, I thinks that's all right then, and I'm about to show myself when the second voice says,
Vincent, what are you doing?
and there's an explosion.
Vincent? Let's put...
And then another. My
so
head
he knew.
ringing. A body tumbles into the river. I'm shaking. But I peek round the wall. A third man on the landing towers over a bloke holding a pistol. I hide again.
Ooh.
Du bist wahnsinnig.
The gun's in the river. The gun's in the river. We need to find the gun in the river.
There's a few hard words. A slap, a scrape, and a splash. Then footsteps moving away. That's it, Mr. Holmes, for true. I went to fetch the body before it got swept downstream.
Vincent, let's see. First murder. We don't know the name of the guy yet. Unknown name. Okay. We have a murderer named Vincent. Murderer Vincent. We also have a slash German? Would we say German? Question mark. Unknown German man. And we have a pistol in river. In river. And the guy who was shot obviously knew the person who shot him. So, man knew the killer. Okay, so that's my notes. Let's see if I can pop this up on my thing. So let's see if I can capture this window. So you can see my notes. The notepad. There we go. There's my notes right there. Don't really want to pop them up over really anything, so I will put them up here in the corner. Yes. Those are my notes here. So I've added first murder, unknown name, murderer was Vincent and an unknown German man, pistol in river, man knew the killer. Okay. So, based on that, we are going to... And yes, I agree, Adam was here. This was made, I think, just a few years later, and the graphics are significantly better. And they obviously use some sort of full motion, some motion capture or some way to, hey, old Viking gamer. It is going okay so far. I just got a witness to tell me about the murder, and it was interesting. Okay, let's talk to him some more, see if he has any more information.
Tell me about the argument after the shots. What exactly did you hear?
A strange voice says something odd like dubious fancy, and then a sound like clapping hands, a clank and a scraping sound, quick like, and a splash in the water opposite the bow of Milwary, then footsteps moving away.
That's weird. A scraping sound. Okay.
What do you recall about the men you saw?
I never seen the victim's face. And when I picked him up, his face was gone. The killer wore a dark coat and hat, collar up, had hard eyes. The third bloke came out of the light. I saw him a little, big hat and cape, yellow beard and some sort of mark on his right cheek.
Thank you, Mr. Needham.
Can I be on my way then? Some good pickings out there.
Just a bit longer.
Okay, I'm gonna have
You're
to
an
read this
invaluable
again.
witness. Very observant.
I make my living with my eyes.
I like the artwork in the last game too. I'm slowly liking the artwork in this game. It wasn't my favorite, I admit, when I first started playing it.
Could you find the object that made the splash, Mr. Needham?
Water and me don't agree, Garver. Don't swim, don't even wade, don't drink it. Hardly bathe in it.
I've noticed. You won't need to get wet. I want your guidance. Just tell me where you heard the splash.
How bad did you need it?
A guinea's worth?
It's as good as found. If you got the means, I got the will.
Hey, Quester. And thanks for the host, Jigsaw. I wish I could send you some real tacos. I wish there was a way to do that easily. Be more specific.
Be specific, Mr. Needham. We're looking for a critical piece of evidence.
It's deep in the corner, close to the wall. I'd swear to it.
Okay, we've got this little thingy here. Let me, what? Hang on a sec. My computer was not plugged in, so it was complaining about being on battery power. Low battery. So, plugged in now. So we're all good. I am doing well tonight. Thank you, Jigsaw. I hope you are doing well as well. Okay. Alright.
Yellow.
Hey, Booty Sweat. Thanks for the follow. Alright, we've got a gun in the thing, so I think we can, first, let me talk to him and get the journal, because I want to get some notes in here about the killers. We have some information that I think is very relevant. So the killer wore a dark coat. We have two killers. We have Vincent. His name was Vincent. We know that from the memory. Vincent. He wore a dark coat, and hat, and had hard eyes. And then we have the third bloke, who seemed to be speaking in German. I'm guessing. That's why I'm putting it in question mark. He had a Big hat and cape. Big hat and cape. Yellow beard. That seems kind of specific. A yellow beard. And also had a mark on his right cheek. Mark on right cheek. Okay. 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 It is, I am enjoying these games. Hey, Wookiee Breeder, how are you doing? I'm enjoying the game a lot. I like this where I get clues and stuff like that and have to work things out. It's a good game. The last one, I really enjoyed the last one. And thanks for the host, Wookiee. Alright, I'm gonna use this. Let's see if it works. Well, that was easy. Okay, I got the pistol.
Good job, Needham. Your eye is incomparable.
Nasty things, wet, Mr. Holmes, but dangerous for all that, I'll wager.
Let's look at it. Were ballistic science more developed and its evidence more respected, a case might be made to identify this as the murder weapon. Alas, the science is in its infamy, and the spent bullets are unavailable. Okay, well, let's pick it up. Hey, Twisted Reaperess. Pocket? What does that mean? Like, take it? Okay, we now have the pistol that was used as the murder weapon.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Needham. I hope we have no need to trouble you further.
Okay, he's not going to say anything. Alright. I was also told that I needed to light, some sort of, I was told that something, it was good to look around here in the dark. So, during the light, or a light would help. I am doing really well tonight. With stairs, I guess? Ah, here we go. This is going to work. Button? Shiny disc? I found some things. A small circular piece of worked metal sits on the edge against the riser of a step. What is it? The disc appears to be a silver or platinum. It may be a commemorative metal or watch fob. The inscription engraved on its soft, polished surface is illegible through long wear. The writing may have once been gold-filled. Okay, we found a silver, a shiny disc. It would be a pistol and river.
This could be instructive. Very promising.
Shiny disc. Okay. And then we also have what looks like a button. Let's examine that. A short segment of unraveled black thread is attached to the button, which appears to be made of tortoise shell. Okay. So tortoise shell button.
A mass-produced button is less informative than its custom-made predecessor, but it might mean something to Stitch Rumsey.
You'll wear out your welcome with him. You don't even know the provenance of that piece.
Who's Stitch Rumsey? Maybe some sort of tailor? I don't know. Alright. Let's pick up my... It looks like that's it. Pick up. Alright. Okay. Let's talk to Watson, see if he has anything to say.
There's some writing on the fob, but I can't make it out.
You need better light.
I'll need a good bit more than that.
Maybe some sort of, paper and pencil could do it? I don't know. I don't know. Let's go back home. I think that's probably the best way to go. To the city. Whoops. To the city. There we go. Man, we gotta look. Here's Rumsey's haberdashery. That's probably the tailor. Let's see if we can do anything with a gun or anything like that. Let's talk to him. Ooh. I actually have some...
Any suspicious persons hanging about, Jonas? Witnessed any extraordinary activities?
I heard old Chadwick grin like a Cheshire cat at Miss Ventress. First time in modern memory anybody had seen his teeth. Other than that, nothing special, Mr.
Thanks for
Holmes.
the follow, X63X. And I do like the music in this game. This game has grown on me. It took a while to get used to it from the last game. Because a lot of the stuff was different, but I actually kind of like the way they did it.
Your kindness to Wiggins does you credit, Jonas.
It's little enough. He's led a hard life. He sails too close to the wind from time to time, but he's a good boy for all that.
The mean streets waste 100 like Wiggins every day, Mr. Rigby. You've given him a chance to grow up.
May I live to see it.
Anything else? No. Hey, I don't give a Sam. Alright, let's go up here. That was new dialogue, I guess. Let's see. I think if I were to guess, seems like the fob. Let's see if we can use it on the lab and see if there's anything we can do about it there. It gave me some stuff about this thing, watch fob. There was some sort of inscription on it. Analyze is an option. It's not on that one, and it's not on that one. So that seems to be analyze fob at the lab table. Okay.
The microscope can't do better than my eye. The gold is old, thin, and smeared. You might want to open the window, Watson.
If you're going to use acid on the metal, please take care. You remember what happened last time. Very unsettling to hear a woman of advanced years yell that loudly.
Okay, so we need some acid. Okay, what kind of acid? This kind of acid? Okay, that worked. Wait, I better save.
I am floundering.
If it is gold you're trying to dissolve, you might mix up some royal water.
Royal water. What is that? I want to save before I do this. Lab on Bob. All right. I have not played Rama. R-A-M-A? I have not. I mean, this is I've played most of the Sierra like Quest series games. That's just kind of like which was a lot of the games that kind of constituted the first 40 or so games. That sounds cool. I will check to see if it's on my list. I have a list of about, if you look at the bottom of my channel, I have the list in my channel description. I have about a list of, it's about 200, I think 238 games on it right now.
The microscope can't do better than my eye. The gold is old, thin, and smeared. You might want to open the window, Watson.
If you're going to use acid on the metal...
Okay, so we have, well, we have nitric acid and we have hydrochloric acid. Can we right-click on the thing? Get some info? No. Alright, well, the hydrochloric... Let's see, does the nitric acid work too? Yeah, it does. Hey, Crosspeg! How's it going? Okay, let's do that. And how about that? Try both of them. Here we got double acid. Then what? Ooh, chloroform. Well, it seems like we might want to, let me get rid of my notes. Let's try putting this into the acid. Dip it in there. Ooh. What's happening? Okay, it's in there. We just pull it out? No. Okay. Water in there? No. Scissors, scraper, tweezer. Maybe we can get it out with tweezers. Okay, there we go. Wait, where is it? Oh, it's right here. It's in the dish. Okay. Alright. Maybe you can use a magnifying glass on it. Ooh.
The Aqua Regia removed the gold fill very nicely. The engraving is visible. The inscription reads, "To commemorate your majority, 23676. If our victim was a Cambridge man, he probably entered in 74.
Okay. So we got 23676 Cambridge. I think so. 6/23/76, I guess. Would be the date there. Cool. I'm guessing. I'm guessing that's on my list. I think it is. All right. So I think I'm done now. I mean, I got it. So, talk to Watson, see if he has anything to say.
Recommendations, Watson?
Nothing material, Holmes, I'm sorry. Despite your best efforts, I've understood little of what I've seen or heard.
But you have an inclination, surely.
You might assert more of your own presence in the investigation. Yours is the finest mind for detection in the world. I don't believe you have fully exploited the leads that you have taken such pains to develop.
Alright. Looks like...
Let's be off, Watson. A journey will settle my nerves.
As if you had any.
Keep an eye on our backs, will you? More than once I've had the impression that we were being followed.
Your imagination is only slightly smaller than your ego. Why would anyone follow us?
To learn where we go and what we do, and to extrapolate what we know from that. In short, Watson, for information, the world's most valuable commodity.
I will add that to my list. So it's called Rama. I'll just put it down at the bottom there. Oops. Okay. There we go. Alright, it's been added. Okay. So now I think we're gonna leave. Open the door. Leave.
Return to the hunt, eh, Watson?
As you say, Holmes.
I think we want to go to the tailor
by
now.
all means.
The tailor was a new location that we discovered, so I think we're going to go there now. So was the game based on the book series? Hey, Wiggins is back. Let's talk to Wiggins.
Are the rest of your lads available, Wiggins?
They're on holiday at the workhouse. If you got a job, I'm for it. On the usual terms, of course.
Okay. That's it. Okay, let's talk to him. I always talk to these when it...
Everything all right with you, Jonas?
Can't complain, Mr. Holmes. And if I did, I would listen.
Too true. There's so little kindness in the world.
Okay, that would obviously be the games were based on the book. Anything else? No? Okay. Alright, we're off. We're off! Okay. So let's go here. Because it's new. That's good. That's good. Okay, we're at a tailor. Alright. Let's look at him. Sometimes that matters. Looking at people. Stitch perfected his art at Pentonville, which is a prison. While doing a stretch for counterfeiting, he turned his eye to honest work, if selling a shirt for 2 guineas can be so called, and is the most skillful bespoke tailor on Jermyn Street. Art artist, art costumer, he caters to a discriminating clientele. Okay, alright. Let's see if we can talk to him. He's kind of dealing with a client.
If you might spare me a moment, Stitch, I would appreciate it.
Right away, Mr. Holmes. I'm just finishing up with Mrs. Rowbottom.
I'll tell you when we're finished, Mr. Rumsey. I'm paying good money and I expect no less than your undivided attention.
Great. So this is a get rid of the woman puzzle? Is this a get rid of the woman puzzle? I think it might be. Rigged in tartan wool and an trimmed cloak. The lady needs sartorial counseling. Individually, her garments are unexceptional. In combination, they are horrid. Her pinched expression might be carved. Okay. Alright. Let's look at a sewing machine. Let's look at that. Hand operated, yeah.
Yellow.
I do not have a Sherlock hat. That would be good. A hand operated Wilson sits on Stitch's desk. Part of Rumsey's catchit is that he can often be found doing fine finishing work at his personal machine. Hey, Scruffaduff, thank you for the follow. Counter, let's look at that. Looks like there's money on the counter, but it might be, I think it's like, I don't think it is money. This long counter serves as a cutting out table. Scattered in profusion are all the tailor's tools and patterns. It is apparent that work is plentiful. Okay. Buttons, bolts, needle. I saw needle. Bolts of cloth. Let's look at those. The slot shelf display bolts of lustrous silk, soft minerals, translucent taffetas, springed muslin, delicate organdie, tweeds, and velvets. Even the most demanding patron will find cloth to please her society, not herself. I saw a needle or button. A veritable cornucopia of buttons are contained in a large open oak wood box. I saw a needle here.
Hi, everybody! Hi, Dr. Nick!
Hey, Kel. Thank you for the host.
Yellow.
And the follow. Needle, there it is, right there. Let's look. A long, sturdy needle used for working leather or board or tweed rests apart from other implements. It looks to be a closer relation to an awl than a sewing needle, despite the fact that its point is broken off. It is still hazardously sharp. Okay. Got costumes, mannequins over here. Keep looking. This game is all about looking. Two dummies are draped a la mode. Fur bellows bedeck gowns whose tiny waists demand the armor of whalebone corsets. Steel hoops have replaced horsehair crinolines. The exaggerated effect is still extremely still. Okay, we got costumes. In society, the mania for costume balls is unrestrained. Never too proud to associate with common taste, Sister plays a popular Lord Nelson ensemble. Columbine, Harlequin, Marie Antoinette, and their ilk are in the back. Okay, mannequins, mirrors. Okay, large framed mirrors are positioned to give the amplest ladies and gentlemen a full view of themselves in their sartorial splendor. These two dummy. Oh, I've already got that one. Mannequins. We got a picture. We got a shop. And I could just look at the shop. Only the possession of excess funds links Rumsey's diverse clients. Captains of industry, entertainers, and bon vivants delight in their costumes and conventional clothing. Uncommonly, he sews for both men and women. Okay, I think I've looked at everything. If I can talk to her again. See if I can talk to the woman.
I beg your pardon, madam. Might I have a brief word with Mr. Rumsey?
No, Mr. Rumsey is not free.
Okay. Ooh.
What is that racket, Watson?
The treadles of sewing machines, I imagine.
I mean the voices.
Can you not appreciate the dulcet tones of the Orient, Holmes?
My pedestrian mind cannot appreciate what it cannot understand.
I won't respond to that. If I don't know better, I'd swear you were fishing for a compliment. I don't know why that wasn't there, but... Okay. What else?
I'll grow grey before Mrs. Rowbottom is satisfied.
Claim pressing business, national emergency and so on.
Worthless. I know her type. Obstinate as a mule.
A pointed threat might remove her recalcitrance.
Watson, you surprise me. Besides, have you not remarked the size of her handbag? Who knows what she has in there?
That's a good joke. She might hit me with her handbag. I love it. Have you chosen a fabric?
Have you chosen a fabric for one of Rumsey's incomparable suits?
In my dreams, Holmes. The practice won't support one at the moment. Perhaps when we're famous.
Among the costumes, the hero of Trafalgar seems a popular choice.
One wonders if the jacket comes sans right sleeve. Perhaps an eye patch may be let.
I've decided on a strategy to shift La Rowbottom.
A subterfuge, then. But not too subtle, I hope. It would be lost on her.
She appears to be a woman whose sense of propriety may be vulnerable to judicious tweaking. Follow my lead.
Try not to be too offensive. She's Rumsey's customer, after all.
Okay. Could be fun. Talk to her.
The fabric of your frock has become a favourite of the demimonde.
You've seen it elsewhere?
Indeed. Watson, did we not recently see this particular material at the Chelsea Burlesque?
That young woman whom Bingo Oakshott insists on calling his protégé was draped in it. A dress, wasn't it? What there was of it.
You disremember her dress, but she had it on so briefly. No, it was the drawing-room curtains which she wore as a shawl.
Or was it a towel from the loo? Good day to you, madam.
Okay. Well, I guess we kind of lost him a customer. Well, maybe only temporarily.
I'm sorry, Stitch. I had to get rid of her.
Oh, I can live without her custom, Mr. Holmes. Much more trouble than it's worth. If you're looking for a job as a floor walker, I'll hire you.
No. Okay.
This needle seems to have outlived its usefulness. Might I take it?
You're welcome to it. It served me well. May it serve you, though I can't imagine how.
Okay, so I get a needle. I can pick up this needle. Okay, cool.
Yellow.
Hey, thanks for the follow. Talk.
Has the move to German Street been advantageous, Stitch?
A bit more money, but I don't laugh so much as I did in Piccadilly.
A more serious sort of clientele comes round here?
They take themselves more seriously anyways. They dress better, more brass, but they're much the same.
I'm not surprised that a man of your experience is undeceived by appearances.
Okay, let's show him a hat. That's clothing.
What can you tell me about this hat, Stitch? Anything of interest?
We have a hat and we have a button. I think he might be interested in both. I'd like him to look at both of those.
At the risk of dabbling in your line, I'd say the wearer has a oblong head, obviously big, younger man from the blocking. The style and quality bespeak concern, but not obsession with appearance. Colour probably doesn't signify.
And the shop?
De Groot's a competent tailor, imports all his materials from Amsterdam. He serves a comfortable clientele in South Africa.
Well, that's interesting. Okay. Whoops, I don't talk anymore. I want to show him the button. Which is kind of the main reason why I was here, but I thought he might...
What can your practiced
This
eye tell me about this button, Stitch?
Whoa! The music.
I'm sure you know its tortoiseshell has a continental finish, Dutch maybe. The thread is nothing special, sewn to a coat, I'd say. Not off the peg, custom made, but not too dear.
Available locally?
Not here. I've got the largest inventory in England. Help yourself, you need one.
Okay, so not locally available. That's interesting. Not locally available. So somebody from out of town, somebody not from London, drop that button. Okay. Assuming he's correct, obviously. Okay. Oh, in Amsterdam. He did say Amsterdam. Say Amsterdam. Maybe he was not German. Maybe he was Dutch. I don't know. Okay, let's leave. All right, where else can we go? We can go to Cambridge and check out the, let's check that out. We might be able to confirm identity of somebody.
Fleming's been porter at Magdalen since King Charles lost his head. Marvellous character. Remembers everything. And he's eager to tell it all for a pint or two.
Was Magdalen your college then?
No, my chemistry tutor was a fellow there. I visited his rooms one term.
I've never been clear on your university days. Where did you study when you came up?
I need to rest, Watson. Wake me when we arrive, will you?
Sleeping? That's fine. Wonderful. What about our other inquiries? Any ideas? Do you think Mycroft is still in danger? Are we? Well, I suppose nothing much can happen on a train.
Who is that? There's some mystery person. Okay. Where am I? Where the heck am I? Where am I? I don't know where I am. Groups of young men are formally posed in the photographs displayed on the wall. Some men appear in academic garb. Others wear various informal or sporting costumes. All pictures are of very recent vintage. I think I might be at Cambridge, but I'm not sure. Keys. We have some keys. Look at the keys. These keys are accumulated over generations. No one knows what they unlock. Locked doors are symbolically anathema to the university's open environment. Despite or because of this quaint attitude, precious objects constantly disappear from their rightful owners. Really? So there's lots of stealing. Okay, look. Each college young gentleman has his own mail slot. Fleming alone knows their locations. Letters and small parcels currently occupy several of them. Oars. Let's look at those. The oars commemorate Malden's contribution to the Cambridge team, which trounced Oxford in the Henley Regenta of 1854. Regrettably, the Cambridge 8 has had little to celebrate since that auspicious year. The historic oars appear to be infested with woodworms. Okay, we got a cabinet. Let's look at that. In 1850, this trophy closet was presented to the college by a group of old boys. Over the decades, their expectations that Magdalen would require such a large, fine repository for its awards and victory cups have been disappointed. Okay, cabinet, books. Ooh, I can examine them. A small lending library of classics from English literature occupy the upper shelves. Albums or diaries appear on the lower shelves. Okay, let's examine the books. See if we can examine the books. Yeah, he is sleeping. I'm probably gonna have to wake him up at some point. What do we say? Dated portraits of the Magdalen's matriculating classes are carefully glued into individual pages of the picture albums. Oh, we can inspect the cabinet. Okay, let's do that. Some cricket equipment, 2 ancient third-place ribbons, and 2 crumbling photographs litter the bottom of the cabinet. Okay. The keys. Can we take the keys? There's a book here, a coffee cup. Smell the coffee cup. The cup has been some time since tea touched. It has been some time since tea touched this cup. Strong ale is Fleming's drink of choice, and the residue remaining there is reasonably fresh. I mean, we'll look at it too. A common Cornwall china cup and saucer sit on at Fleming's elbow, as there is no evidence of water, kettle, or gas jet. Perhaps someone brings his tea, or he's not drinking tea. There's a book. The open tome is an antique volume of the Encyclopedia Britannica. He often reads it. Regularly, he seeks formal knowledge from it by osmosis, which I guess means him sleeping. Okay. All right. See if
nothing changes very much in Cambridge, Watson.
I'm sure the pace of change is slow, but the aura of immutability is perpetrated by porters and dons. They are eternal. Everyone else is transient. They have an interest in perpetuating the illusion, and your frozen memory assists them.
It was merely an observation, Watson. Excuse me. I'm sure those oars haven't moved since I used to visit here.
The very walls appear to have been built up around them.
Well, not so old as that, Watson, though sometimes I feel it. The oars came here in the year of my birth.
Oh, I can look at cricket equipment. The equipment consists of the stumps, 2 bats, and a ball from the glorious Ashes Test match against Australia. Magdalen alumnus Percival Tipper Cuff bowled superbly for England. He restored the brilliance to the national team, whose reputation had been tarnished by the agonizing debacle of 1882. Okay. Oh, I can rouse him.
Fleming? Fleming, old fellow, how are you? College closed. Fleming, I say rouse yourself, sir.
Okay. Porter and Magdalen for more than 50 years, Fleming's vivid recollection of the Queen's coronation has been a soporific for generations of students, self-styled chronicler of his young gentleman's activities. He's a font of information through his aging pump, though his aging pump often requires priming. Come on. Maybe I can talk to him. Maybe he has an idea.
This won't do, Watson. He requires some hair from the dog that bit him.
It must have been a huge dog. Shall I check his pulse?
No need. Collect a couple of bottles of strong ale from the public house we passed, will you? Mind it's not small beer.
Some porter for the porter. Sorry, Holmes.
No, I think a good joke. So we're basically gonna give him a drink. Okay. Okay, I see. See if that'll work. Maybe he'll be happy drinking. Okay. He just woke up this time. Alright. Alright.
Would you oblige us, Fleming, with your opinion? We're evaluating this ale.
Happy to assist young gentlemen in the pursuit of knowledge. So for science, as you might say. Excellent. I recognize you, don't I?
I'm pleased to think you might. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Of course you are. Never forget a face, Mr. Holmes. Just takes me a bit longer to focus. You're keeping well? Haven't gained a stone since you went down. I read your exploits in Beaton's. And this is Dr. Watson, is it? Pleased, I'm sure.
Even after these years, my recollection of this place are so vivid.
Even after all these years, my recollections of this place are so vivid. Is that unusual, Fleming?
Not at all, sir. We are what we remember. As the bard says, even purpose is but a slave to memory.
Hey?
I need to excavate your prodigious memory, Fleming. May I do that?
I enjoy a good mystery. Dig away, sir.
I saw a tattoo on a corpse. Something about it reminded me of Cambridge.
Have you
about the
of
rose
Plumpton
tattoo.
Street?
Nothing so definitive. It's a neatly rendered blooming rose. You're familiar with such a figure?
If it was engraved on the subject's backside, it might be the badge of the Tudor Rose.
The Arcane Social Club? Of course. The symbol of England was their sign. I had no idea those rare birds marked themselves.
Since your time, sir. Been a drinking club for more than a decade, carousing and such. Nothing much secret about it. Old boys are ashamed to be associated with the newer members. University may revoke their charter, is what I heard.
Okay. So, seems like I'm starting to solve the mystery of the rose tattoo.
Is the artist a local man?
Jack Canvas in Cheapside designed the tattoo version from an old print drawing. I'm told he recently passed over.
Yes, I should have recognized his hand. But my brain was fixed on the subject matter. The delicate petals set along the brambles and the thorns. Unexpectedly lovely. I've seen the painting, of course.
As a symbol, the old boys was thinking they were England's best.
Some of them proved it. But their successors took to advertising. Trying to convince themselves, perhaps.
True quality never commends itself, Mr. Holmes.
The Tudor Rose drew its members from the whole university, didn't it?
Indeed. Over the years, there's been hundreds of initiates.
Do you remember all the Magdalen men?
Their names run together now, but I do recognize most of them.
Regrettably, I don't have a name or a face.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I have reason to believe my corpse was a maudlin man and a member of the Tudor Rose.
If he came here after 1860, I may have him in my albums.
Could we look through your portraits of the previous classes?
But that's thousands of young gentlemen, Mr. Holmes. 100 or more would have joined the Tudor Rose.
Would the date of a student's matriculation narrow the field sufficiently?
It might. My memory's good, but not flawless. And some of these characters were more memorable than others.
I believe this boy turned 19 in June of 1874 and came to college for the Michaelmas term that year.
Let me check my photographs. Ah, yes, 1874. A rum class. Bright, no question. But rum.
Anybody there who later joined the Tudor Rose?
Let's see. There's Dundalk, the Earl's youngest boy. Died in the Transvaal, I heard. And Lawton, he's a lord since his pater passed on.
Lawton?
An MP, I believe. Oh, yes. His special friend was Pratt.
Pratt?
An orphan came to us from India. Strange boy. Don't know what became of him. And Cunard, he's making his fortune in Australia. That's all, I think.
Thank you, Fleming. Very helpful.
That was
My
very
dear sir,
helpful.
Always a pleasure to see one of my young gentlemen.
Pratt and Lawton were buddies. I don't know what's Lawton's first name. I don't know what his first name is. Oh wait, maybe I do. I might know what his first name is now that I think about it. It was probably written on one of my inventory things. Denise. So it wasn't. Oh, I mean, let me look at this again. Is there any Vincents on this? Horace, Avery, Philip, Thomas, Eldridge, and Agnes. No, I didn't think there would be. So we know that Fleming and Pratt went here. I suspected it was Pratt. I suspected Pratt was the victim, but I couldn't really prove it. And this doesn't prove it either, but it kind of makes it more certain. I think it was Pratt because we went to Lawton and he was alive. He was alive, so we know it wasn't him. But I think it's Pratt. Let's see what Watson has to say.
Pratt and Lawton together. This is too terrible to be a coincidence, Watson. Our corpse is the ex-Thomas Pratt, I'm certain of it.
If you say so, Holmes. I'm a bit baffled.
Cambridge can reveal no more about the present case. We can just make the next train to London. I wish to see Pratt's effects, and then we'll carry the bad news to Lord Lawton.
So Pratt, I think, is dead. So suddenly our case comes together. Suddenly the case comes together.
We've just time to catch the next train to London.
Excellent. Let's be off.
Okay, the train station is now not available, so I think we want to go to Pratt's location. Maybe we can. Or do we want to go? Or do we want to go to Scotland Yard until let's go to Scotland Yard and see if we can tell let's talk to him. Talk to Augie. Nope, nothing. Okay, well this is a sign I'm probably not supposed to be here. Then we'll see. Nope, nothing. I can't get in? Oh wait, I can talk to him and say.
Which is more...
It's a fact.
Go in if you like. Okay. I can't tell him. Okay. Okay. I just assumed I'd be able to tell him. But I guess I can't. Alright. What's our next move? Going to his house and basically... Or the morgue. I think I said I wanted to investigate his belongings, which would be his house, right?
I'm afraid I carry some deplorable news. Mr. Pratt has been murdered.
How extremely vexing. I wonder if he remembered me in his will. He's 6 months behind in the rent.
You'll have to absorb that cost. He's paid a higher price.
This is very inconvenient.
Very
Mr.
inconvenient.
Mason always said I was too kind for this world.
I'm sure he was a flawless judge of character.
Okay. Okay.
Might we look at Mr. Pratt's effects? It can make no difference to the deceased.
As you're not the police, I think not. Even the defunct have some right to privacy. There may be personal items about.
Of a marketable nature, perhaps?
Yeah. Take that.
Are you familiar with any of Mr. Pratt's haunts? Clubs, saloon bars, salons, and such?
No. His leisure activities are a mystery to me. There was his painting, of course.
The flat lacks its own bathtub. Where did he perform his weekly ablutions?
He had rights to one in the basement, but he preferred Neville's in Charing Cross. No doubt a reprobate's delight. All manner of dissipation and depravity are likely to be served with soap and water.
I'm unfamiliar with that particular pleasure palace.
Okay. Ah! I want to look, but hey, look.
Do you know anything about Pratt's years at Cambridge?
Nothing. But he was a university man, that's for certain. I only let rooms to that sort of person.
Did Mr. Pratt have any special friends?
Only Mr. Spacemaker. But I haven't seen him in more than a month.
Spacemaker? That's weird.
Spacemaker?
Yes, unusual name, isn't it? Peculiar young man. As pretty as any girl.
What is that supposed to mean? That's a weird thing to say. Okay, and we've got Neville's or something like that for the Neville's bathhouse, I guess. All right. Okay. Anything else? Taking notes.
Do you have a likeness of Mr. Pratt in your flat that we might borrow?
We did not have that kind of relationship, Mr. Holmes.
What kind is that?
You know very well what kind. The kind that exchanges personal photographs. We were not intimate friends. No one could prove that charge.
Could you identify Pratt for the police if requested?
I should think so. He lived here for more than 3 years. I know his face as my own.
But could you recognize him without reference to his face?
No. But why would I be asked to do that?
Getting identification seems like it's going to be difficult. Let's talk to Watson.
I perceive you have a question, Watson.
Shouldn't we find out more about this fellow Spacemaker, where he lives and so on? He might be able to help.
Doubtful, Doctor. The name is certainly an alias. The bearer possesses a basic German vocabulary and a rudimentary sense of humor.
Interesting. German vocabulary. And we have what I thought was an unknown German man.
Anything of material interest here, Doctor? Using my methods, please.
There's a dearth of personal items of any kind. Address book, writing materials, letters, photos, that sort of thing.
Well observed. You've noted what's missing, though one would expect to find more of that sort of thing in the bedroom. Still, this chamber deserves our closest attention. What do you know of Neville's, Doctor?
An ordinary bath off St. Martin's Place. Depravity, indeed. This woman's an imbecilic prig. I shouldn't wonder if her husband dispatched himself to get clear of her.
Okay.
Watson, we need to peruse the flat. Can you occupy Mrs. Mason?
Would you suggest a sharp rap on the head?
Use your imagination and your knowledge of the distaff nature.
This woman can.
Hey, Speedboat Jimmy, how are you doing?
But appeals to her vanity might not fall on deaf ears.
I enjoy the dialogue in this game. I really do. I like it. I think that they did whoever did the dialogue and the text and the writing in this game did a fantastic job. Let's see.
If I may ask, Mrs. Mason, how did you lose your husband?
He was a cooper plying his trade. Fell into a great barrel of stout and was drowned, poor dear. Clearer proof of alcohol's evils there never was.
He drowned in beer. Okay, that's interesting.
I'm sure he thought highly of you and confided in you. Perhaps you have the names of his friends or relations in your flat?
I do not. He was orphaned by the Sepoy Rebellion, and the uncle who raised him has been dead for years. He had no family that I know about. Would the ministry consider paying his back rent, do you think?
Perhaps you would like to freshen up and change your handsome frock.
Oh, why would I ever want to do that?
I'm sure that a chief inspector from the CID will be by directly for a chat. They always interview the most important parties in a murder investigation. You'll need to accompany him to Scotland Yard. There'll be numerous photographers and journalists about. I thought you might like to prepare yourself for the ordeal.
Oh, well, I see. Very thoughtful of you, Mr. Holmes. Oh, being in the public eye is such a trial. Excuse me, gentlemen. Close the door when you leave.
I'm doing pretty good. I am enjoying the game. So, okay, well now we've got run of the place. Okay, that's good.
I suspect we'll see no more of her.
Capital, Holmes, capital. The appeal to her vanity was irresistible. It overwhelmed her suspicion that we would make off with Pratt's valuables.
I believe she knows the worth of every item in this flat to the last farthing, and it isn't much. Her exit, like everything she does, is calculated. But let us take advantage of her narcissism. You know my practice, Watson. I'm looking for anything unexpected.
Well, the first thing, let me save. Pratt's flat. Okay. So I know we had a hat pin. I want to take that, I think I want to take the hat. Because that was, oh wait, we can smell it. I don't think we could do that before. The pin has been used to puncture new tubes of paint, but the sweetly arid scent of a brown-stained tip suggests it may more recently have been used to ream out the sticky residue from the bowl and stem of an opium pipe. Okay. Can I take it? And we're gonna wrap it up. Yoink!
Useful items, Hat Paidens.
I'm sure. This certainly falls under the heading of unexpected.
Okay, we've got this. Search this thing. We weren't able to do this before. While she was there. Did we find anything? The bin is filled with canvas, scraps, spent tubes, crumbled newspapers, and rags encrusted with paint and infused with turpentine, an ordinary mixture of combustible rubbish. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, don't think there's anything else we haven't looked at in here. We looked at almost everything while we were here last time. Yeah. Let's talk to, Watson again. If he has anything to say. Nothing. Let's enter his bedroom. Okay, new perspective. Interesting. Wow, that's a interesting bedroom. Oh man, we got a lot of stuff in here. Look at the picture. Just start looking at everything. The vulgar artist has plagiarized the scene from the battle between centaurs and Lapiths, which Odysseus carved on the Parthenon's metopes. One doubts he took the trouble to view the originals, now resident at the British Museum. An image of the Irish critic and precocious wit Oscar Wilde stares from the wall. Pratt's admiration of this genuinely eccentric but minor author is an insignificant puzzlement. Matters of personal taste often defy analysis. Okay, examine. The novels are joined by collections of expensively illustrated erotica. Okay. We got some erotica. Fireplace. Look. Smell. Smell the fireplace. Was it recently used? The characteristic odor of a long dead fire is evident. Okay. Sift. A 6-inch segment of red cloth has partially buried in the ashes, about half an inch wide, and appears to be linen. It is charred on both ends. Okay. Let's look at the red cloth. Let's look at it. On closer examination, the finished, non-fraying edges of the cloth indicate that it was part of a larger piece of ribbon. Get up. Okay, I'm going to put that in my note. Hat pin, opium, and red cloth from fireplace. Alright. Taking a lot of notes. And we didn't touch. Alright, what do we got? Anything interesting. The fine ash in the grate is cold and slightly damp. The last fire here appears to have been exclusively of paper, so he burnt some things. That was a while ago. Last fire was all paper. We're gonna put burning evidence, question mark. Okay, interesting. Alright, what else we got? Sure. Coal box. And that. Yes, open box. Oh, that's that thing. The remaining coal might be sufficient to warm a pigeon coop of moderate size. Many small boxes lay along the inky crumbs. Okay. Look. A subtle scuttle made of pine and fitted with brass hardware is one of the few commonplace objects in the room. Small boxes. Let's examine those. What are they? Pratt lights his mean fire with matches gathered gratis from various second-rate restaurants and public houses throughout the city. The frog and peach and the pig and whistle are represented in the collection.
Was Pratt a voluminist?
I sincerely doubt it. Merely economical when it was convenient. But these may be of future interest.
Okay. One of the boxes are broken. Most of the boxes are broken and empty. There are 3 matches remaining in one of the packets from the weary punt. A poor nautical pun is doubtless indicative of a disreputable public house.
Evidently, no establishment is so base that its reputation can't be ameliorated. Perhaps one day I shall make a study of match packet advertisements. Pratt apparently patronized the weary punt more than once.
I assume we know that based on match packets. Okay, what else we got? Man, this is a lot of stuff. Got a bed, Buddha, horse, a hookah. Okay, let's start from the bottom and go up. I think up is where a lot of the interesting stuff is going to be in, though. A small freestanding bronze statue of a Pereswolski horse rests on the floor. It might be a Mongolian artifact, a Buddha. Let's look at that. This plaster rendition of the Enlightened One in a traditional meditative pose imitates a Chinese original. One doubts that Pratt was an adherent of Zen or any form of Buddhism. Look at the hookah. This rose-tinted cut glass pipe is modeled on a traditional Turkish design. The hammered brass bowl is lavishly decorated, and the smoking tubes are delicately embroidered. Smell. There was smell used in there. The tiny brass bowl has previously held opium. The extant residue is not tobacco. The area where the smoke tube joins the bowl has been recently reamed with a sharp, flexible instrument. That would be probably my hook thing. Can we use the hook on? Can we use the pin on it? For whatever reason? Clean. Hookah. Does that work? I can get more residue.
Perfect tool for cleaning the hookah. I suspected this pin never pierced a bonnet or a lady's coiffure. Useful items, hat pins.
So did I get a sample of the hookah then? No? Why did I do that? What was the point? What was the point in doing that? I don't know. I don't know what the point of that was. Okay, we got a bed. Let's look at that. The canopied bed might have been fitted out by a lonesome but impoverished sheik to remind him of his distant Arabian oasis. The room, in fact, is vaguely reminiscent of a harem tent, sans females. Okay. Okay. What else we got? We got a desk. Look at the desk. We're going this way, apparently, to examine. Oh, okay. The bed is in the middle of the room. I got it. I got it. Perspective. Pratt's simple oak desk has a single cabinet door. The desk appears to be more of a surface for stacking and storing than for reading and writing. We got a photograph. Let's look at that. Is that him? The silver frame surrounds a portrait of a beautiful young man in formal dress. Ooh, this might be... The extraordinary sharp image is dramatically lit and finished on the unusually bright paper. One corner has been mutilated, obscuring all but of studios of the photographer's name, and the handwritten message, the memories. The grass is cracked in 3 places. I think I want to take that. Let's move it first. There's nothing behind the frame except the photograph. The glass protecting the photograph has been cracked in 3 places. Let's pick it up. That seems like it could be useful. It's a photograph of somebody.
Someone may recognize it.
Yeah, that's my thought as well. Let's open the desk, see if there's anything in the desk. Apparently not. There's nothing in the drawer except a battered Fair Isle pullover. Okay. Papers here. Let's examine the papers. Examine the papers on the desk. What do we got here? Bills and letters are mixed with higgly-piggly. All bills are long past due. A notice from Nelville's Bass is the most recent. Amidst the signs of fiscal ruin is a note dated 2 months ago. It reads, Mr. Pratt, your consideration and generosity are always appreciated. A. Ratchet. That's interesting. Your consideration, generosity, A. Ratchet. That would be one of the clerks. Because Pratt was a clerk and Ratchet was a clerk. So that's interesting.
I certainly hope you're not going to collect every piece of paper.
Quite right, Watson. But a recent bill from Nettles and a personal note from the elusive Agnes Ratchet are suggestive.
So they get him?
I certainly hope you're not...
Quite right, Watson. But a recent bill from Nettles
hey,
and
Hoagie.
a personal note from the elusive Agnes
How is
Ratchet
it going?
are suggestive.
Okay, he wrote a letter to Pratt thanking him. Okay.
I certainly hope you're
quite right.
No, he's not gonna let me pick it. Okay. Okay, what else we got? Whoa. Okay. What do we got? A basket. Let's look at that. Rummage. Ooh, we got a rummage option. Basket has been recently emptied. It contains a single piece of wrapping paper, a piece of dark crimson sealing wax, crescent-shaped, and a thumbnail size. And thumbnail sized is caught in the wicker. Okay. Let me do with that. Sealing wax. Let's look at it. A piece of dark crimson wax, crescent-shaped and thumbnail-sized, has caught in the wicker of the dustbin. It appears to be part of an official government seal. Well, let's take it. Yes. Okay. Anything else? Can't do anything with the pillows, not with the candles. Did it.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick.
Hey, Jimbo Lewis. How is it going? Thank you for the raid. How are you doing, Jimbo, and everybody who is part of Jimbo's raid? I am playing Sherlock Holmes and the Case of the Rose Tattoo. We are investigating a murder. We are investigating a murder which has conveniently tied in with the previous case that we were investigating about a stolen explosive formula. So, we are making some progress. I have quite a few notes. This game came out in I want to say 94, but I may be wrong about that. Let me look it up. It might be 95. Apparently, I'm seeing 96, actually. So, 96. It came out in 96. August 31st, 1996. Okay, so now what do we want to do? I think we're probably done. Let's talk to Watson. Watson is indisposable.
May I have your opinion of Pratt's decor, Watson?
Bordellos and counterfeit harems of the world could learn a thing or two here. Did the filing clerk fancy himself a Maharaja?
It's an old story. He was meant to be a potentate, but an accident of birth deprived him of his true destiny.
Okay.
What is the attraction of these devices? Is water-cooled smoke more healthful?
Hardly. One doesn't smoke for one's health. The hookah merely makes for a change. As with all habits, it is subject to abuse.
And how, in your opinion, does an innocuous habit become a vice?
Excess, Holmes, a subject about which you are expert.
You know this odor, Watson, unless I have mistaken your experience.
Oh, Watson's moving. I already knew what it was. I guess he's just going to confirm it.
Opium. The acrid, nearly sickening scent is unmistakable.
The source is obvious. Its significance is less so. The bowl appears clogged with the poppy's viscous residue.
Okay. Talking.
Pratt's pecuniary embarrassment went far beyond defaulting on his rent.
Why do you say so?
A heap of overdue bills, requests for credit, all denied, and a record of ill-conceived investments.
He sounds a reckless fool. There, but for the grace of God, any of us might be if we're desperate enough.
Very true, Watson. It would help to know what caused his desperation.
Okay, we're gonna write that in our notes. I have out of money and desperate. So, interestingly enough, Pratt and Lawson were both having financial troubles. So, and we learned that Lawton was Pratt's friend at Cambridge. So they were well aware of each other and they knew of each other. and they were both in financial trouble. That's interesting.
Do you recognize this remnant of red cloth?
It looks like a segment of ribbon.
Yes, government issue. The type used to bind official documents. There is no doubt in my mind that Pratt was a principal in the formula's theft. He truly was a fool.
But questions remain, surely. Why would Pratt have stolen it?
Why indeed? And what did he do with it? And where is it now?
Pratt helped
why was he killed?
Steal
Fools tend to be foolish more than once. They are as dangerous to their friends as to their enemies.
All right, I'm going to put my notepad up here. So where I'm writing down all the evidence that I have on Pratt. So Pratt helped steal the formula. I think this is very key. So let's keep. So Pratt was out of money and desperate. Lawton was also financially troubled. So I'm guessing the formula was stolen probably for money. And I'm guessing I wouldn't be surprised if they were both involved in this formula theft. And Lawton was very rude to me. Okay.
This wax once sealed Dewar's document. I'd bet on it.
Where's the other half?
If I knew, we'd be further along. But you make a nice observation, Watson. It does appear to be nearly a perfect half of the seal.
So he burnt the formula. The impression is, since the ribbon was in the fireplace, he burnt it? Did he burn the formula? Maybe somebody was competing? Maybe there was a competing thing or something like that. We have a copy of the formula. So, that would be interesting.
Do you suppose this is a photo of the supposititious spacemaker?
Why do you think the name is intended to deceive?
In life or literature, I'll wager you've never seen it. It's a jest. Spacemaker, or Spaßmacher, means the Joker in German.
Would it be interesting to know why an alias was necessary or desirable?
At the least, he wanted to conceal his identity from Mrs. Mason, but the Act of '85 may have been on his mind.
Surely that's pure speculation, Holmes.
Not so speculative, Watson, and hardly pure. People's predilections are their own affair until their criminal actions make them mine.
I don't know what that means. Mr. Spacemaker. Okay, we've got that. We've already got that.
The seal, the ribbon, the paper ash. The evidence is suggestive.
That Pratt destroyed what he stole? Perhaps his nerve failed him, or he repudiated his treachery, but you will say suggestive evidence is not conclusive.
Quite right, Watson. There is a large crime in motion. We must not be distracted by apparent solutions to portions of it. Pratt was murdered for the part he played in the formula's theft. His killer must be sought, but the questions suggested by the theft itself are still more important.
You want to know why the theft was committed and who gained by it if not the thief.
My hat, Doctor. You have been paying attention.
Yeah, so the questions that we're trying to answer are who stole the formula and why. I think we might have a who. We don't know have a why. Who wants to terminate the investigation? The committee members wanted to terminate the investigation and why? And who tried to kill Mycroft, Sherlock's brother, and why? So I think we have an answer to who stole the formula. We don't know why. It seems like it could be for financial reasons, but burning the formula kind of contradicts that. Okay. Anything else?
Wilde is widely credited with the wittiest riposte of the decade.
Which was?
The justly ignored poet laureate once approached him. Oscar, he complained, no one notices my work. There is a conspiracy of silence against me. What shall I do? Wilde instantly replied, join it.
Regrettably, the poet laureate ignored that sound advice.
Okay, that is funny. Okay, I don't think there's anything else we can do here. So we're gonna go out here. I think we're gonna go to the bath. I think the next location that we've got, I think, is the bathhouse. So let's leave. All right, we're gonna take this off now. Let's go back to the. All right, where's this bathhouse? Man, it's apparently far away. Let's not go there yet. I don't feel like we should go there yet. We have no real reason to go there. Here's the bathhouse, which has a hookah. Okay, let's go here. Looks like something's gonna happen.
How can I help you, gentlemen?
Options. Save. Bathhouse. Okay. Alright. Now we're at the bathhouse. So, what do we do? Let's start looking at things. Counter. Look. Rough, loosely piled terry towels and white bath sheets are stacked on the counter. Smell. So let's smell the counter. Or the towels. We're smelling the towels.
There are certainly more rank odors, but it is revolting to discover mildew in towels. I'm certain the authorities would deem it less than hygienic.
Use? I want to use a towel? I don't see a reason for a towel right now. Portrait. That. Portrait depicts a mythic caliph bathing at a desert oasis. Perhaps an antique ottoman is a kind of mildew. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, mildew in 1880 something. I mean, let's look at it. Traditional Turkish pipe is supplied for the pleasure of the patrons. As the smoke passes through perfumed water, it is cooled, and a few of its noxious properties are dissipated. Smell it. So what we've got here. Oh, we're walking so slowly. Oh my goodness. Apparently this guy's just gonna stand here while I, investigate. He's just like, whatever. This guy's walking around. Yeah, okay. One hopes that Neville's attends to its other amenities better than it does to tobacco. A pound of this poor North African mixture can be purchased from a Piccadilly tobacconist for a shilling. Okay, pillow, move it. I don't know why we move it, but okay.
Just a modicum of your garden variety muck. What does this place have against regular applications of soap and water?
Okay, so it's gross. So this place is gross? Is that what we're trying to figure out? A radiator. Let's look at that. Oh, look. Let's examine it. Let's look at it. Boiling water circulates through cast iron radiators to heat the room. The water vaporizes, condenses, returns to the boiler to be reheated to form steam. The heat is transferred by air currents. This is basically a sauna, yes? Oh man, Sherlock. Walk a little bit faster. You're so slow.
Hot and wet. A perfect breeding ground for mold. Pasteur would doubtless pay for samples of the captive bacteria.
His institute deals only in virulent and contagious forms, neither of which this is.
Perhaps, but you won't deny it is disgusting.
Just.
The gentleman will get a chill. Please turn the valve.
Okay. Alright. Alright. So, he's there to prevent me from messing with the valve. Okay. Alright. Okay, I think I've seen everything in this room. Wait. Oh, there's that thing. That. Careless or unwitting hands, these contraptions have a tendency to explode. Even the experienced can be surprised by the device volatility. Okay, I probably don't. Alright, let's talk to Watson. If he has any ideas.
Who are the habitués of this spa, Watson?
I've heard the Young Turks from Whitehall are trying to invest the place with an aura undeserved by its merits. They may be joined by old India hands who simply crave the heat.
Not a self-indulgent crowd, then?
Not necessarily.
Neville's has a appalling taste in tobacco. It's an insult to the patrons.
Men in their condition probably can't tell the difference.
Nonsense. They're enervated, Watson, not dead. Though they soon may be, given what they're smoking.
Holmes.
Can you envision Pratt wasting away in such a place?
Without difficulty. Given the style of his digs, this would suit him down to the ground. Perhaps a little on the tame side, but suitable.
Okay. Statue. The poorly executed crumbling fall marble version of the athlete at his bath is justly ignored by all. Got a sign, we can't look at that. Look at him. Oh, we have to get up close to him to, we're going to talk to the next person to talk to. The attendance features mark him as an experienced polygist. His snug clothing reveals a heavily muscled physique. The tattooed bluebirds on his biceps announce that he has crossed the equator as a seaman. Like others of his ilk, he may receive gratitude for protecting his patron's privacy. Let's talk to him.
I believe Thomas Pratt was a patron of these premises. When did you last see him?
Adrian Russell at your service. Were you thinking of joining us here at Neville's? I can make you an handsome introductory offer.
We'd like a private word about Pratt.
What are the chances? At Neville's, his privacy is my business.
Okay, well, he is dead. He is dead, so...
The premises seem lightly attended. What amenities are available here?
We have an exercise room, a steam bath, modern individual steam cabinets, and 2 invigorating cold water plunges. You could do worse.
We should like to see the baths.
Baths are baths. There are several members back there au naturel. They don't appreciate intruders.
Perhaps we will become members, Russell. It looks a decent enough place.
Sound thought. Put colour in your frog-belly complexion, improve muscle tone, and you get to meet a nice class of person. All for a modest cost. I'll get your paperwork, shall I?
Of course, we'd need to inspect all the facilities.
Fine, but as I've said, don't pester the clients, and the baths are not available to you at the moment.
Have you ever considered fumigating this place? It couldn't help but improve the atmosphere.
Members appreciate the traditional bouquet of odours. Most find comfort in familiar scents. You would also, in time.
Not if I lived 1,000 years.
Alright.
I'm now ready to inspect the baths, Russell.
No, you're not. You've no intention of joining up.
Listen, you muscle-bound twit. Neville's is in violation of numerous tenets in the Code of Public Health. Mold, mildew, common filth are rampant. Let us pass, or I'll report these unsanitary outrages forthwith, and you'll be out of business by this evening.
You made your point. I'll try to keep it clean, but there's too much for one person to do. Can't find any decent help. I'll accompany you. Remember, don't be bothering my clients. You can't walk about unsupervised, mister.
The name is Holmes, Mr. Russell, and I not only can, I have done.
Alright. We're now in the bath part of the bathhouse. Let's save it again. Okay. Now what can we look at in here? Alright, we got a boiler. Look at that. That would obviously heat the water. The cast iron boiler supplies steam to heat the baths and cabinets. Somewhere in the bowels of the building, a coal heaver must feed an insatiable furnace. Okay. Looks like all we there. Oh, a valve. That valve adjusts temperature by controlling the flow of steam. A gauge measures the pressure. A maze of fireproof pipes deliver endurable doses of steam to the various rooms and cabinets. This seems kind of dangerous. Just got a towel. Look at the towel. One of the bath's ubiquitous white cotton towels is twisted around the bathier's head like a turban. The cloth helmet conceals its face. So there's somebody right here. Okay, there's somebody in this. Okay. Okay, let's talk to him.
You have been singularly unhelpful, Russell. Do you know nothing of Pratt?
I ain't seen him in days. Now, no more liberties on my patch. I've got a reputation to protect.
In a moment. How about Eldridge Whitney? Does he use these premises?
No.
No. Okay. Can't talk anymore.
Who's in the steam cabinet, Russell?
One of my regulars. Don't be bothering him. Very important man in the government.
I'm sure he is. What's his name?
His name's none of your business.
Excuse me, sir?
I said he's not to be disturbed.
Who's in the steam room? I couldn't see a bloody thing.
Nothing to do with Pratt. No need to disturb them.
Should I take your word, Russell? You haven't proved particularly trustworthy.
Wait for them to come out, then.
Life is short, Russell. I don't wait well. Then again, the heat's unbearable in there. It's hotter than jockey's breeches in here.
Regular perspiration cleans a system.
So does a high colonic. I try to avoid both.
I'm gonna see if I can move the towel. Boom!
Beg your pardon, Mr. Whitney, sir. As for you, that tears it.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Bloody
Oh!
foreign tricks! Get me out of this muck!
Bajitsu is hardly a trick, Mr. Russell. Watson, make certain Mr. Russell remains aquatic. I've had enough of his interference.
With pleasure, Holmes.
Wow, look at that. Some strong arming there. Oh! Nice. Go Sherlock. Get some violence going on here. This is Eldridge Whitney. We found him.
A fortuitous meeting, Mr. Whitney. I am Sherlock Holmes.
After you've replaced my towel, you might ask if I care.
Considering your position, Whitney, you might curb your impertinence long enough to discover my purpose.
Your purpose is of no interest. If you continue to harass me, I will take steps.
Naked and enervated? Excuse me, but I doubt your capacity for action. As your attendant is occupied, let's talk about the formula missing from your reading room.
That is a ministry matter. You have no claim to my cooperation, and your brother's obvious indiscretion may be actionable.
My brother's judgment is not likely to be challenged. Yours, on the other hand...
Save your threats. They are ignorant and rude. I speak only on the authority of my superiors, of whom you are not one.
You need to tell him that Pratt is dead. Because I think he might be interested in that information.
At the moment, you are not accused, Whitney. I'm simply trying to gather information.
You'll get none from me. I know my rights and my duties.
I'll ask you once to reconsider your intransigence.
You waste your breath.
No, my speech perhaps, my patience certainly. My brother nearly killed, and you stand on some inflated idea of your own importance. You fatuous twit. We'll see whose breath is wasted.
Okay, so he doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to talk for some reason. What do we do? Squeegee. Employ. Employ. Let's click employ on it. What are we gonna do with it? we just locked him in here. Oh, nice. Okay. I think we're man, we are strong arming people in this one. We did not do that in the last game.
Now, Mr. Whitney, please share your observations and suspicions about the formula's theft.
Do your worst, Mr. Holmes. I am accustomed to long hours in the heat.
Okay, let's turn this valve. Hopefully we don't kill him. That'll turn up the heat, right? What did we just do? I don't know what we just did. It's making a noise, though. Is he suffering? Is he suffering from heat? From heat, or is he getting cold?
You will not trifle with me, Whitney. Tell me what you know.
I recognize extortion when I see it. This is not a joke. I'm having trouble breathing.
You'll have to do better than state the obvious.
I had no part in the initial disappearance. It was not my responsibility. I do my job very well. I know nothing about this.
But if pressed, innocent as you are, you might speculate about the guilty party?
Yes. Question the ratchet woman, the Char. She is an internationalist. Have no idea why she's kept on. Could you turn down the heat?
A small taste of Hades for you, I should imagine. Go on.
Many times I've mentioned security is very lax, very slipshod. She could walk off with anything. The heat, Mr. Holmes, could you?
He's not happy.
Where might I find Mrs. Ratchet?
She lives in some East End hovel.
The East End is vast. Where exactly?
Pratt would know. Well, ask Sir Avery. He's palsy with her. Is it any wonder respect for the British Empire is on the wane? She's the Char. I ask you. I mean, for heaven's sake, I don't take tea with a woman.
Fortunate for her. Describe her, please.
She's a plain woman.
Brilliant. Colouring, height, weight, facial shape, teeth, distinguishing characteristics?
Who notices such things about the Char?
If you don't want to be parboiled, you better have noticed something.
On her tea breaks, she reads. Everything. Reading all the time. Classified documents for all I know. And it makes her squint badly. probably need spectacles. Are my eyes starting to bulge?
Not to worry, Mr. Whitney. You're a fine shade of lobster pink.
All right, let's keep talking. Let's hope we don't kill him.
When did you last see Thomas Pratt?
I truly can't recall. Except when we passed in the hall or exchanged duties at the desk. We had only Nevilles in common. Turn down the heat, will you?
Thomas Pratt has been found dead, Mr. Whitney.
You don't say. Well, nihil nisi bonum de mortuis, but I suspect he had numerous unfortunate habits and the associations to match.
Would you care to elaborate on that obloquy?
The truth defames no one. He was an unhappy man, and I'm sure he indulged in drugs. Died by his own hand, did he?
Hardly. He was assassinated. To punish him and complicate his identification, his face was obliterated. The bullets nearly blew his head off.
Why?
Because he knew something he should not have known. If you're involved in anything you shouldn't be, have a care, Mr. Whitney.
Okay, so he was, he used drugs. Oh, so it's Pratt used drugs. Pratt used drugs. We kind of already knew that one. So that, I guess, wasn't a talk.
Can you conceive of a connection between Pratt's murder and the stolen formula?
There isn't one.
How can you be sure?
I didn't just fall off the back of a turnip wagon. I am mentally acute.
That is palpably false, but for the moment I'll assume you're simply ignorant of a connection.
Okay.
Our conversation thus far has been neither difficult nor painful. It can become both, if you insist.
I have nothing more to say to you on any subject. Just replace my towel and leave.
There are few things I appreciate less than being lied to, Mr. Whitney.
I'll try to remember that.
Test my patience and I'll make certain you never forget it.
Alright. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Click on them. Nope. Okay. Guess we'll... How do we leave? I think we're done here. Guess we can look at pools. Bathers may cool themselves from time to time in invigorating plunge baths. Here we go. 2 bath and 3. Alright. Where do we go now? Let's talk to Watson. I should have probably talked to him. Okay, we're going to take this off.
How does Russell strike you, Watson?
A bully, with a patina of gentility. Your inquiry puts him in a bind. He can't boast the privacy that comes with membership, and answer your questions about Pratt without betraying what he's already sold.
I suppose I might inform him that he won't be collecting another penny from the Pratt account.
Okay. No info.
I earnestly counsel you, Watson, to touch nothing.
Your concern is appreciated, Holmes, but in this instance probably misplaced. As baths go, this one appears relatively sanitary.
As rivers go, the Thames is cleaner than the Ganges, but I wouldn't swim in either. Point?
Point taken. Sanitary was perhaps not the proper word.
Alright, I think we're done here. Ooh, that's different. Okay. What else have we got? We have his townhouse. I know that he was friends with Lawton. I don't know. I mean, I can't talk to Mycroft anymore, so the hospital's pretty much out of the question, except for the morgue part of it. We've got this. I don't see why we want to go here at the moment. That one seems like a... Okay, so I think the only place that would be useful would be... either Lawton's townhouse or the Weary Punt. Let's go here. We haven't been here, so let's go here. Save. Ooh, this does not look like a good place. This looks like a bad place.
Merde!
May I purchase a packet of matches for my pipe?
Matches is gratis for my customers and back. Smoking tobacco's a filthy habit. I sell alcohol here. If you don't want to drink, take a hike.
I smell something strange. Perhaps I'll just walk back there.
And I'll tear you a new ear hole. Entrance is by special permit only. You ain't welcome. Seamen, sailors and their friends. That's who I cater to.
So I think I'm going to have to potentially come back here later. Maybe. This doesn't look like a... Customers are apparently drawn from the rivermen who infest the neighborhood. The sometimes stevedores, seamen, teamsters, and grafters are currently employed at drinking themselves into oblivion. There's a parrot.
Damnation, blast, and bloody hell!
That's funny. Posters, let's look at those. A few colorful, if dated music hall posters are tacked on the walls. The singers Albert Chevalier, Mary Lloyd, and Lottie Collins are among the celebrated. Had they been asked, they might have declined the honor. Okay. Nothing really in here. There's some musicians. Two exotic and obviously desperate musicians scrape out a feeble tune. They won't get much for their trouble. A reek of despair coils around the room. Neither music nor the stench of cheap spirits can mask its deadening odor. There's a parrot. The blue-gold macaw contributes to the alien ambience. The species' reputation for viciousness is suitably matched by its multilingual, raucous speech. He rails continuously. Hazy Pyro.
Take a hike.
Alright. Room. Clouds of pungent smoke fail to obscure the surroundings.
Merde!
Yeah, I don't think there's anything we can do in here. That seemed to be a threat. So we're going to leave. I don't think there's anything we can do there. We're going to go over here because... Alright, let's see what we can do in here.
Please show me in. I have tragic news for Lord Lawton.
Did his favourite nag break a leg?
A colleague of his named Pratt has been found murdered.
Young Master Thomas. I am sorry. He was a nice boy, troubled but kind. In the old Lord's day, he was often here. Haven't seen him in years.
I just had a thought. So they were friends. I wouldn't be surprised if this lord was supporting Pratt.
No, my lord, I will not.
So, as soon as this lord's financial
Mr.
troubles
Holmes and Dr. Watson, my lord,
happened, he wasn't able to support his friend Pratt anymore, and so they both ended up in financial troubles. That could
My
be.
My position requires further reflection. Billiards is fascinating, don't you think?
Yes. What are you doing? What are you doing, Watson? Okay. You're warming your hand. That was weird, but okay.
I'm sorry to inform you that your friend Thomas Pratt has been found dead.
Really? How unlucky. We were at Cambridge together, but I barely knew him. You might as well offer your condolences to the ministry char. How did he die? Heart failure?
Yes, it stopped. After he was shot. Twice. In the face.
Pity. He had such a beautiful face.
And a rose tattoo on his backside.
I'm sure I don't know, though I'm not surprised you do. Your type specializes in the nether regions.
He's lying about him and Pratt being friends, because the butler Jenkins clearly said he was over there quite often. So that was a lie. That was absolutely a lie.
Your colleague should know of Pratt's condition and other developments. Where might I find Sir Avery Fanshawe?
He took Brumwell's old pile in Chelsea. Wife is infatuated with redecorating. He'll be riveted by the news, if you can wake him.
And Philip Bledsoe?
Haven't a clue. Heard the unsociable lout has chambers in Gray's Inn.
How about the clerk, Eldridge Whitney? Do you know anything of his whereabouts away from work?
The pathetic
I
sod
found
keeps
him.
a cot at the ministry, uses a public bath as his dressing room.
Okay, so I found him. I probably have a map icon for that now. Let's talk to him again.
What do you think is the connection between Pratt's murder and the formula's disappearance?
There is no connection whatsoever.
I must now decide whether you are remarkably unimaginative or a liar. Perhaps both.
I don't have to tolerate insults in my own home.
I'm sorry. Tact has deserted me. There is no doubt that Pratt's execution and the theft of the formula are related, Lord Lawton. If Pratt was not the thief, he knew who was.
So you say. The problem is, no one, your brother included, has conclusively proved that the formula was stolen.
What a surprise. The body charged with making that determination cancelled its inquiry almost as soon as it began.
Indeed. Okay.
I ask again why the investigation was terminated.
There is no need to make mountains from molehills. Bring the ministry into disrepute every time some papers are mislaid. Go there yourself. You have my permission. You'll see what sort of place it is. Despite your brother's efforts, it's not terribly well ordered.
You expect the formula to turn up, then?
I think it probable. Well, it's a definite possibility at the very least. A clerk may have misplaced it, or the char, or one of the members. Stop grilling me and go bother them. Or better, return to your own affairs.
Just so you know, Lawton, the discovery of the formula would not complete this investigation. We are far beyond the resolution of a simple theft. You neglect this fact at your peril.
If you want someone to bully, bother Fanshawe. Or Silverbridge. He initiated the call for termination. Rake him over the coals. I have nothing more to say.
Okay, so he lied about his acquaintance with Pratt. He said he just knew him at Cambridge, and that was it. That was an absolute lie. Clearly he had way more connection with Pratt than what he said he did. So that's a lie. Don't know why he'd lie about that, but his butler clearly...
Your employer was less than forthcoming about Mr. Pratt, Jenkins. I wonder if I might have a private word.
Possibly. highly irregular, probably disloyal, but possibly. I liked that boy.
Okay, so his butler might actually be able to tell me more information.
I'll tell you of Mr. Pratt's demise. In return, you could answer some questions and let me look about.
Lord Lawton will be out with Lady Lockridge later.
Fine. I'll return.
I'll trade for information about Master Pratt, but there's a higher cost for telling tales out of school and giving you the run of the house. You play a decent game of billiards?
I have a passable game. I'm not really...
I'm a devotee, but one can always improve. If you can teach me a lesson, we could have a chinwag afterward. If you can't, I'm mum. That's the deal, agreed?
You seem quite sure of the outcome?
As sure as the Lord Chief Justice wears a wig. Be in the limelight with the lads at the academy when I tell him I had you over a barrel here.
So he wants to play me at billiards. Okay.
Is Lord Lawton a music aficionado?
Very devoted to euterpe and terpsichore. Music's the only thing we have money for nowadays. Cylinders, scores, stands, new felt piano tuning and the like.
Okay. Talk to Watson. I kind of got thrown out.
Perhaps you might stand in my place at the table. You wield a decent cue.
You take neither pleasure nor honour in playing me. It's you he wants.
In that case, I wonder if Jock Mahoney still holds court at St. Bernard's. He may know Jenkins.
As I recall, you two didn't part the best of mates.
True, but I don't hold a grudge.
He might. Alright, so I need to beat him at pool, apparently. It's my next thing. So I played darts, I think, in the first game, and this one I'm playing pool. So now we have a billiard hall. What else have we got? We got the ministry. We have this. We have Fanshawe. We got a lot of new stuff from that discussion. Alright, let's go here. That was the last thing I was told to do. Okay, until recently, snooker was the game of choice at St. Bernard's, and honest working men formed a bulk of its clientele. The new emphasis on billiards is a vain attempt to attract what's referred to as the better class of person. Its current customers are layabouts, sharpies, and the occasional civil